Ew, I have an Archie hair in my mouth. Hey, this is a nice sweater, mister. Don't do that. Okay, go play then. Go play. I'm trying to do my intro. Hey, don't drink that. You are just everywhere right now. What are you doing? Don't eat Grogu. I know you want to. You cannot eat Grogu or Kingsley. There are rules in this house. Stuffed animals are friends, not food. Hello everyone, welcome back. We are going to be doing a February TBR Jar pick today, and we have a little special guest. This is my nephew, Archibald. We are dog sitting him this week, and he decided he wanted to make his YouTube debut, so here we are. Do you have an attitude, mister? Do you have an attitude today? So he's gonna be helping us pick. I don't know if he's gonna be helping so much as hindering, but he really does think he's helping. That's all that matters, right, Archie? That's all that matters. I'm so proud of you. So January is almost over. I did do a January TBR poll at the end of December because I had never done a TBR jar before. I'll be honest, January was chaotic. We were just talking about it at work and everyone agreed like January is supposed to like feel like the longest month of the year, just getting ramped up for the year in your life and in work and your goals and everything. But January has flown by for me. I feel like I blinked and it was gone. And I'm still reading quite a few books for January, which I'm excited about, but I didn't get around to reading necessarily all of my January TBR jar picks, which is okay, it happens, but I really want to prioritize my February TBR jar picks when the time comes. So I'm pulling those now just so I can get in the headspace. We still have about a week to go until February, roughly. That's gonna give me time to wrap up my January reads that I'm in progress and then really just kind of like buckle down and focus on my February TBR picks. Archie says I need to be more disciplined, and I know, it's a problem. It's a problem. Life just got busy, but it's okay, because we're here now. Emotional support nephew, he's doing a great job. Do you wanna help me pick out some TBR picks? You're a camera natural, look at you. You look so handsome. I can't film if you're just gonna be so, so after all this time, you're choosing now to be snuggly? Of course. Of course. As soon as I try to get on camera, he's like, oh no, Heidi, let's snuggle. Which brings me to part of this video that I skipped. My name is Heidi, if you're new here, and I am a full-time corporate girly, overtime book girly, part-time YouTube girly. Okay, Mr. Archie has been occupied. He's got a little treat, so he'll be busy for a while. But anyway, so heading into February, I'm going to be pulling my TBR jar prompts in the similar way that I did on my last video. So if you haven't checked that out, please feel free to go do so. I'll make sure that it's linked. What I'd like to do this month is pull 4 prompts from the TBR jar, and I'll pick as I go. So in addition to the TBR jar, on this top shelf, you can't see it, but I'll show you later, I have my 25 books that I've prioritized that I want to read in 2025. So in addition to picking 4 prompts from the jar, I also would like to choose 2 books from that 25 list. My goal is to read 2 of those a month. I think that'll keep me on track by the end of the year to have read them all. So it kind of depends. What I like to do is pick from my jar first, and then as I pick, I'll choose a book and then I'll pick another prompt. Normally up top for those 25, I don't use a prompt to choose. I try to pick based off of genre. So if I have a lot of fantasy that I end up picking from the cart, I'll avoid fantasy from that top 25 and maybe choose a historical fiction or a romance or something to balance out the genres so I'm not reading kind of the same books the full month. Although it is February, so I do want to make sure that I am reading some romance just because of Valentine's Day. I'm also part of 2 book clubs. One is one that I run on Fable, and another one is the one that I run with my friends here in Dallas. On top of the 4 books and the 2 books, I'll have 2 books as well for those book clubs, which one of them actually falls into my top 25 of the year, which is perfect. I might put a buffer book just because that one doesn't technically count, just to give myself some variety just in case. But let's get to picking. I do try to go in like super blind. I wrote these out in December, so I really don't remember what prompts are in here, to be honest with you. Okay, prompt number 1 is a book set in the current season. So it's February. So for February, I kind of associate like dreary, gloomy, rain. Here in Dallas, it's actually like transitioning to spring already, which is crazy because it's not technically even February yet. We had a cold snap and now it's like the birds are chirping, the sun is shining. What is going on? I don't understand. So I'm gonna try and find something that gives me like gloomy vibes and maybe set in the spring. I'll try to find something like that. Okay, I moved you over here so we can take a look at my cart. So something that feels like gloomy. We're gonna avoid these books because some of these are still my January reads. So we'll hold off there. First one that comes to mind is Codename Helene. This one obviously is a kind of gray, gloomy book. Set in 1936, based off a true story of a woman who goes from socialite to spy during World War II. Very interesting. I don't know if it's like necessarily set in winter or like early spring, so maybe not. Set in the current season. That's kind of tricky. I feel like they don't tell you in the back of a book when it was necessarily like written in or like what season it's in. I know, toxic. I have a bunch of books in the back, so let's take a look here. You know what? I think this prompt might be a little bit difficult. Ooh, this is a cool one. A Dark and Drowning Tide. This definitely gives like February, rainy. There are other dangers lurking in the dark. Forests that rearrange themselves at night, rivers with slumbering dragons hidden beneath the water, and shape-shifting beasts out for blood. Let me, before I choose from these two, I also have Two Twisted Crowns. This one, I'll be honest with you, hot take. I didn't love One Dark Window. I know, don't hate me. I didn't love it. However, everyone says book 2 is better, and that's from the people who actually even liked book 1. I might give this one a chance. Two Twisted Crowns, I mean, that looks kind of like February-esque, like the trees don't have leaves on them. It's kind of gloomy, there's fog. That gives February. This also is giving February a little bit. More Tim Burton though, so maybe it's also like more of an October read. This one also is giving February with like the puddles on the ground and everything. I think between the three of these, if I'm gonna be honest, it's not the one I really want to pick, but it's the one I need to pick, and that is Two Twisted Crowns. This has been on my TBR cart for way too long because of how I felt about the first book, but I own it. It was gifted to me. I have it. I should probably read it. And I'm definitely somebody who likes to read books in the season that I feel like it's set in. So a lot of like romances, vacation-y, I tend to read in the summer. Dark academia, I read in the fall. Fantasy honestly is just year round for me. But then I don't really know what this falls into, like dark gothic fantasy, but something about the cover makes me feel like February gloom. And also just based off of how I felt about the first book, I just thought it was very drab. Like it was a book that was in black and white in my head. Does that make sense? Like normally when I read, I have like vivid images in my head. And One Dark Window, when I was reading it, it was fully in black and white. Just kind of felt like a Tim Burton stop motion. I don't know, that kind of gloomy vibe might fit February. So let's run with this. Also, she's wearing a red dress. I don't know, February gloom, Valentine's Day. We're gonna do this one for that first prompt. I'm gonna have to reorganize this after everything, so we'll just leave that there for a minute. Okay, prompt number 2. A cover that I don't like. That is such an interesting one. Let's think about this. A cover that I don't like. I don't really necessarily have any covers, I don't think, that give me the ick, but sometimes I have covers where like I never would have picked that book up unless somebody told me it was good, because the cover was just not doing it for me. So let me try to find a book that maybe fits that. I know I interpret my prompts a little bit, but sometimes you have to, just based off of the books that you have. Okay, here is one. I already feel like I'm gonna choose this one. Flawless by Elsie Silver. I've not read any Elsie Silver books, and people say this is their cowboy romance awakening. I need that in my life. I do, I really do. But this cover is so boring. I'm sorry, so boring. I do like the colors, and it's very Valentine's Day, so I think that's appropriate. But honestly, if I just saw this on a bookshelf, I wouldn't have given it probably even a first glance. It's just very boring. It doesn't tell me anything about, like, what are these? Are these sweatshirt strings? I don't know. Like, what are those? Are those sweatshirt strings with like weird phallic symbols or chess pieces on the end? Like, what does that even mean? And why is there just like a bowl? Like, is that a sticker? I don't understand. I just don't get it. This cover does not tell me anything about the book. However, not only do all of my favorite booktubers love this book and this series, but also all of my friends have read it and they really enjoyed it. A lot of them say they like book 2 best in the series, so that's not too much of a commitment. Like if I don't like this, I can at least read book 2 to see if I want to finish it. If I love this, then book 2 is like already ready to go, so that's awesome. You know what? I think I'm just gonna choose this one because this is a cover I don't like. For sure. Gives me nothing about the book, doesn't get me excited. Like this cover, are you kidding me? Beautiful. This cover, I bought this sight unseen. I actually have no idea what it's about. Not a clue, couldn't tell you. But it looks Tim Burton and it's stunning. The hair, the water, their faces, so beautiful. Truly just like one of the best cover arts I think I've ever seen. But this is not doing it for me. So we're definitely going to choose this for prompt number 2, a cover that I don't like. The dogs are just pitter-pattering. We have an elderly dog and he walks backwards. It's quite bizarre. He's always done it. He's like 14 years old now. For like 13 years, he's just always walked backwards. It's just a really interesting quirk of his. But it's funny because you always know where he is because he shuffles. So he like moonwalks around the house. So he's like click-clacky all the time. He's so cute. But it just makes me giggle because like you always know when he's making his way downtown. Okay, prompt number 3. Let's turn this back around. Maybe I need some like fresh variety. Okay, prompt number 3. Let's do this. Oh, I also try not to pick books. I don't want to say I try not to pick books in series, but like the Ice Planet Barbarian series right here, like I have 3 books on this cart. Like I'm not gonna pick them out of order, and these are more mood reads for me. So I try to avoid books like that even if they fit a prompt. Prompt number 3, set in a different continent. I love that. Okay, so I'm already thinking Sally Rooney because most of her books are set in Ireland. So there's that. That was already on my TBR for this past year. The X-Files, it looks like it's set in Italy. I think it's set in Napa. Not quite the same thing. Okay, we'll leave that one. Malibu Rising, obviously that's United States. Let's see, we have all of these books on the bottom shelf. I know you can't see them, but none of them fit the criteria. We have The Guncle, Fragile Sanctuary. Those don't really work either. Okay, we also have Ithaca. I pulled this for my last month's TBR and didn't end up choosing it for one of the prompts. It is set around Greece, so I mean, that definitely is possible. It's just not one I'm very interested in right now. People we meet on vacation. Where are we vacationing? Emily Henry, where are we going? New York City. And then they take one glorious vacation. You don't tell me where this vacation is, Emily. On vacation, you can be anyone you want. Like a good book or an incredible outfit, being on vacation transports you into another version of yourself. Salty ocean, blah, blah, blah. Still don't tell me where you are. Okay, that's not gonna work. Okay, most of these books, to be honest with you, are either fantasy or set in the United States or in North America. However, I am toxic. I do have a TBR shelf over there. So let me go take a peek. I'm not gonna show you because she is chaotic, and I will bring back some books that maybe are set in a different country. Okay, I got 3 options for a book set in another continent that I think would be good ones for this month. First we have Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy. In this book, this girl goes and studies abroad in college and goes to London, and she has like a bunch of boy roommates. It sounds cute, it sounds like a romance, so that might be a good one for February. I also have Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. This one is set in Dublin, so that's a good option. It's also very short. Yeah, it looks like it's under 300 pages, which is an absolute gift. I love that. I will say most of her books, yeah, all of her books don't have quotation marks, which is extremely daunting to read, I'm not gonna lie. Reading Normal People, I had to like sit on it for like a month before I decided it was a 5-star read. It started off as a 3-star read just because I had to literally reprogram my brain to read it, but it was really good in the end. The show definitely helped bump up that rating, which probably isn't fair, but you know what, I did it anyways. So Conversations with Friends, in a nutshell, basically explores the beauties and dangers of being in a female friendship, kind of that push and pull of loving your female friends, maybe being jealous of your female female friends competing with them, etc. I don't condone that. I think that is toxic friendship, but I definitely think it's very real still, and a lot of people experience that at some point in their life. I don't know, I think it's gonna be a good commentary on friendship. So this is another option that I'm interested in. I'm also really excited to read her books because I am going to Ireland later this year. I want to read as many books set in that country as possible. And then finally we have The Book Thief. This one was recommended to me by a friend and she said it was really, really good. However, with this, I think I'm gonna put it off to the side for now because I still haven't read The Nightingale, and I can only read one historical fiction at a time or I'll get them kind of mixed up. And I do want to prioritize The Nightingale over The Book Thief. This is a relatively new book on my TBR cart. The Nightingale has been on there for years, literally. So I gotta get moving on that one. So we're not gonna choose this one. I also already have a romance, so I'm not gonna choose this one. I've decided I'm gonna do Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney for my book set in another continent. Okay, and fourth and final TBR jar pick. Again, I'm only doing 4 because I still have to pick from my 25 and 2025 list, and I'll give you a little sneak peek into at least one of my book club reads. Okay, a book set in the 20th century. Well, there goes my avoidance of historical fiction. Oh man. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, let's see here. I'm wondering if I can okay, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. A lot of that was set in the 20th century. It wasn't necessarily a historical fiction. So I'm just interested to see if Malibu Rising, yes, okay. August 1983, that's still the 20th century. This looks like a really good one, and it's also blessedly so short, thank God. But it's by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She wrote Daisy Jones and the Six, if you've heard of that one. Also The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. She has a new book coming out this year. I think it's called Atmosphere. It's on my list of anticipated releases I'm so excited about. So in this book, it's basically this huge elite summer party. They're a wealthy family in Malibu. Throughout this book, family secrets are revealed. There is kind of a crime or mystery that happens. Their house ends up burning down. Throughout that, they kind of discover things about their family, the loves and secrets that shaped this family over the generations. So I'm super excited about this one. I love the cover as well. Something about it is just, I don't know. It is very summery, which, it is what it is. I know it's not summer yet, but I'm not tired of winter. I love winter and I love fall. I actually really don't like summer, but I love reading about summer because I'm not sweating while I do it. It's great. It's best of both worlds. So I think I'm gonna choose this one actually. So I don't have to pick a historical fiction. That's great. That is great. I'm so glad I picked this one up. This is a recent add to my TBR, so I'm looking forward to this one. Okay, so we have the 4 books that I've chosen from my TBR jar. Now I'm gonna show you my 25 shelf and we'll pick 2 from there. If you missed my last TBR jar video, no worries. I'll just give you a quick little run through of, these are my 25 and 2025 priority reads. I've already read a couple of these, so some at the end there are, not books that I'm going to be choosing. However, I do already know The Nightingale. This gives me February vibes and I haven't read it. It's a book literally everyone else has read that I have not, so I need to read this. Also, my Fable book club decided we want to read Funny Story for February. So that checks off another book on my 25 and 2025 list, which is super exciting. That leaves me one other book, and I don't have any fantasy or sci-fi books on this list, and I feel like I kind of want to do this. I have been putting off Daughter of No Worlds for so long, partially because I'm hyping it up so much in my head. I'm beyond excited to read this. I love Carissa Broadbent. I'm currently reading her 3rd book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series and I'm enjoying it so far. This will be a good one to pick up once that is done and I enter my Crowns of Nyaxia hangover. So excited. These are the 3 books that I'm going to add to my list. Okay, this is a lot of books. You may notice the black sheep, so to speak, in this pile. Yeah, I'm sneaking in ONYX Storm because I did not get a chance to read it in January. And guys, I'm telling you, people are being so awful on social media. They are just posting spoilers, not even marked spoilers. I understand, Booktok is a thing, Bookstagram is a thing. You have to post content about up and coming books. That's just a given. I understand that. But to post it as like a quote point blank from a brand new book, one of the most anticipated books to come out this year, without a spoiler warning at the top or anything like that, or like a little countdown. I don't know. I just think that is so extremely rude. And if you think you're part of the book community and you're doing that, we don't claim you. I'm sorry. I know I'm new here, but you are not the type of book person that I want to hang out with, because how dare you? You should know better. But anyways, I'm gonna get off my soapbox on that. But yes, we have ONYX Storm here added to this pile. I'm excited to read it, but let's go through this real quick. I just took my thumbnail image and I am freaking sweating because this is a actually very heavy, very heavy stack of books. So let's add it to the cart. We have Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney as my book set in a different continent. We have Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid as a book set in the 20th century. We have Flawless by Elsie Silver as a cover that I don't like, but it does fit Valentine's Day, so we'll give it a pass. We have Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig as a book that fits the season. Felt like February, so we chose it. And then from my 25 and 2025 priority list, I chose Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. So excited to read that. We're also gonna go with The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna as another book off of my 25 and 2025 list. Funny Story, which is also on my 25 and 2025 list, but it was actually the book that my Fable book club chose, so excited to read this one. If you're interested in reading this with us, I'll make sure to include my Fable link down below. Anybody can join, you're more than welcome. We're all pretty active in the chapter chats. It's a lot of fun, and I think this will be a good Valentine's Day one. Also, I need to finish all of Emily Henry's books before her new one comes out because I'm a little behind. I just have that one and People We Meet on Vacation left, so not too far behind, but definitely want to get through that, so I have an excuse to buy her new book. And then of course we have ONYX Storm, this absolute beauty. Love it. I personally did not like the Target edition. Not because I didn't make it to Target in time to get the limited edition, because I didn't, like most of us, but also there's just a lot of drama around that going on. First of all, I have a feeling a lot of Target employees bought up the books and then are reselling them on other platforms. The Target editions are being resold for like $200 on eBay and Etsy and everything, which is absolutely disgusting. Not only that, even though it's a limited edition, they put the unremovable sticker on the front, which is disgusting. And I say unremovable because it is actually a legitimate sticker. You can take it off, but it is gonna leave residue because we all know Target does not understand how to create removable stickers. Barnes & Noble does a really good job at making stickers that can be removed and leave no residue. Target has yet to figure it out. So if that's your job and you're working at Target, work harder. But also, I liked the idea of having the multiple dragons down the edges because I do have, you can kind of see it right there, I do have the original Fourth Wing, so I thought that this went really well with it. I do hate that Iron Flame does not have dragons on the side. That is due to Speedy Publishing. Red Tower was like, we need to rush and get Iron Flame out, and that's why they didn't have dragons. That's kind of like word on the street. So I just wanted it to match as much as possible. And then also, Target basically ripped off all of the exclusive one-of-a-kind artwork that's on the inside. It's not one of a kind. It's like not credited to the original artist. They like stole art from like the internet and then just edited it a little bit. Crazy to me and absolutely a ripoff. Like I would rather go to Etsy and buy a print that somebody created for books and give them credit and put it inside my books. I would much rather do that. The artwork tends to be better anyways. That's just my hot take. I'm gonna put this on the cart now. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. That's exactly what I did for January. I am almost done with my 7th book for January right now, and I still have just under a week left of the month. So I'll definitely hit 8 books. Now, were all of those 8 books for January my TBR Jar picks? No, they were not. They were not. I really want to do better in February. To be honest with you, January was a big travel month for me, and with just like a carry-on suitcase and a backpack, I could not bring a ton of physical books. I brought 1 physical book and that worked out pretty well. But my entire TBR jar is focused on my physical TBR. So while I was traveling for a week, I could only read 1 book that was a physical book. So that was a week lost in my opinion. Obviously I read a lot in Kindle and did audiobooks, but not quite the same thing. I have no plans for February. I do not want to see people. I do not want to socialize. Bowls. The Super Bowl isn't happening in my opinion, so I'll be staying in. I'm not trying to sound rude. I just like February, I feel like January flew by so fast. I had no recharge time, no like reset time. And my recharge and reset time, R&R, is through reading. I just didn't get an opportunity to do that. I had a great month in January. Like personally, I had like an awesome month. I had a lot of fun. The travel was fun. I know if I don't catch up on my R&R and my reading, going into like the rest of the year or March at least, I'll feel a little bit behind and I'll feel like I didn't achieve much. So February, I'm really going to focus on this. These are all books I am 10 out of 10 ecstatic to be reading. I am so excited about all of the, except for this one. I'm not excited about that one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you love that one, send good vibes. Send them all, because I did not love the first one. And I need all the good energy. So thoughts, prayers, the whole thing. But all of these other ones I'm really excited about, and these are really short. To put it into perspective, my January TBR, 8 books took up this entire thing. There was no space here. That's how thick those books were. Hindsight, I don't know why I did that, because obviously it wasn't going to pan out. I was not going to read 18 inches of books. I'm sorry, I don't even know. Like, is that 18 inches? Who knows? 18 inches? I don't know. Maybe? Anyways, size doesn't matter unless it's books. Then it matters. And then it has to be timed perfectly or I will not be reading them. So this is much more feasible. God bless Sally Rooney and Taylor Jenkins Reid for writing short books. I love it, I love it, I love it. Thank you. Gives me some variety. And it gets me excited about these longer ones. And obviously Emily Henry, just fly through. ONYX Storm, I didn't love Iron Flame, but I think I'm gonna fly through ONYX Storm because it's shorter than Iron Flame and I am determined to avoid spoilers. Please, 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 if you're reading it, one of two things. Stay off social media. I want you to have the best experience of ONYX Storm and just new releases in general. I want you to have the best experience possible. And for some reason, I don't know if it has to do with the TikTok ban, and now after 12 hours of it being banned, everyone is like going crazy and like trying to catch up. Like, first of all, y'all, it's not that serious. Second of all, I know we're all excited about this book, but please, as excited as you were to read it on release day and you read it in one sitting, which is amazing, please do not spoil it for people. It's actually just very rude. It's not why people enjoy being part of the book community. Like, we all love book content and we all love to, like, I don't know, look at fan art and everything. Like, I understand that, but please do it respectfully, because sometimes you can't control your algorithm and it'll just show up. I see big book talkers do this and I see new book talkers do this, and it's just, I don't know, it's sad. We've all been there. We've all done it in some way, shape, or form unintentionally, I'm sure. I feel like I've done it and I had to like backtrack and repost the video. I get it. But for a book this big and this anticipated, please, like, at least give it a month. Like, give people some time to read it, because not all of us can just take the day off work and read it in one sitting, right? There are a lot of us who might be stay-at-home moms who get pulled in every which direction every 5 minutes, so you only get reading it in 5-minute spurts. It might take you longer. Some of us work overtime. Some of us work a full 9 to 5 in office, so there's no time you can really like sneak away to read. Like, there's so much going on in life right now outside of all of that as well. So give yourself some grace. If you have not read ONYX Storm yet, it is okay. You are not behind. You are not behind. I guarantee you 90% of the population who wanted to read this book has not yet finished it. So you are not alone, but maybe just do yourself a favor, because other people clearly aren't going to. Stay off of certain social medias for the time being. I love YouTube because it's way more curated. The thumbnails give like spoilers away, like spoiler warnings and everything, without you needing to click on the video and watch it and everything. I also post book reviews on my page where I do a no spoiler section first and then I do a spoiler section, and it's very clearly defined because I want to make sure that people can get review information that they need without needing to skip through a video or freak out about, was that a spoiler, was it not a spoiler? So I try to do my best posting reviews about books that way so that you can have the best reading experience possible and still be super surprised by any plot twists or cliffhangers or tropes or I don't know, just everything. I want to make sure you have the best time. So anyways, take care of yourself. We are heading into February, the second month of the year. It is also the shortest month of the year, so if you feel like it flies by, it's okay. It is gonna go fast, and that's all right. Life is moving really fast right now. You just gotta roll with it. But I hope that you have a great reading month to come. I'm excited. These are all books that I'm looking forward to. If anybody wants to buddy read any of these, let me know. I'm always happy to set up like an additional Fable just for like little buddy reads. It's a lot of fun. I did that with Caraval with a couple of my friends. We had a blast. It was no pressure, no timeline to finish, but it was just fun reading everyone's comments as you were going through and reading it as well. But again, I will link my Fable down below as we are reading Funny Story. I know a lot of people still haven't read this, but if you're feeling anything like me and you want to catch up before her new book comes out, you are more than welcome to join. We'll be starting it on February 1st on the dot. Whenever you're watching this, please feel free to join, and we'll be doing a book every month. But that is all, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, please do. I love seeing familiar faces in the comments. I've posted enough videos where I'm starting to see that happen, and it is so much fun and just brings me a lot of joy. This is a relatively new account. My goal is to post weekly, and I feel like I've been doing pretty good about that so far. I'm also on Instagram for more aesthetic posts and longer book reviews. I post collages, songs I relate to when it comes to certain books, my Goodreads reviews, all of that. And I'm also on Booktok. I'm a little bit less active on Booktok since I started YouTube. I enjoy YouTube better. I don't know, long form videos just kind of fit my yapping style a little bit more. So anyways, I hope you stick around. Please let me know if you want to connect on any of these platforms. I'd love to chat with you a little bit more. But other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching. Love ya.